Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. It's Teresa of the Earrings Off Podcast, where we have conversations to empower women and the men who celebrate them. Today, you'll meet Peter Anthony. Peter is an author, speaker, and master in professional communication and collaboration. As an expert in collaboration, Peter runs workshops for people in 12 countries and has been doing so for over 20 years. Not to spoil anything for you, but please continue to listen as Peter role plays with Lou, applying his techniques to help Lou in deciding on a piano purchase. The techniques, or moments as they are called in his book, Collabradabra, help to maximize collaborative outcomes one conversation at a time. It is our hope that you enjoy this podcast.
We have with us today Peter Anthony. We're excited, Peter, that you decided to join us today. So thanks for being here.
G'day, Lou. G'day, Teresa.
I'm going to start. Why have we lost focus, Peter, on collaboration?
That's a great place to start, Lou. We've lost focus. We've become more polarized than ever, according to the most recent Pew Research. Americans have never been more polarized. In other words, never been less likely to change their minds or how they feel about something as a result of being engaged in a conversation or being engaged in an organization. So that's concerning. Why has that happened? Lots of good reasons. One good reason is the rise of social media and social media algorithms, which means whatever your favorite social media platform happens to be, whether it's YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you'll likely get more of the same, and you'll get your opinions and views and biases, if you like, reinforced. And what's more concerning for me is that you're more likely to get the other side demonized. So if you like high, low's going to get demonized. If you like water, the mountains are going to get demonized. So it's a way of artificially reinforcing our biases, and we are more polarized than ever. And part of that's driven by anxiety, because Apple research suggests that we've got about 80% of mobile phone usage is in short form video, like YouTube Shorts, like TikTok. And that's for the dopamine hit that gives you. And we need the dopamine because we've also never been more anxious in recorded history. So we're more anxious, we're more polarized. And since COVID, unfortunately, we're more pessimistic. We're also more depressed, and we're more introverted. So that's an interesting cocktail to be dealing with.
Right. And I tell you, Peter, that's an interesting point about the algorithm, because when you're seeing your biases or seeing your perspective over and over, you tend to believe that that's it, because it's repeatedly being fed to you. And you don't leave a lot of space for an alternative view. So
no, you don't. And in some ways, Lou, that's comforting, because you think, my view is the right view, and I like being right. I don't like being wrong. And I like the other guys being the enemy because they are wrong and I'm right. And that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, the thing that struck me in your comments was that statistic from Apple and how people are using their phones. Who would have thought that it's to watch videos? I mean, or something other than talking, right? Like you use it more for things other than talking on. That's interesting. Never knew that was quite that high.
Yeah, it's interesting too, Teresa, because the other side of the Apple research going back to 2006 is that the average length of phone calls has reduced every year, but the length has reduced and the number has reduced. And that's the only measure we have of conversations. So there's less conversations. When we have them, they're shorter.
Wow.
So that's also concerning.
Yeah.
That's very concerning, because you know what, Peter, I noticed even with myself personally, when I, especially as we go into Oscar season and you're hearing about all the great movies and documentaries out there, but when I the first thing I look at is, how long is that? And I didn't I never did that before, but now it's like my attention span has been impacted. I'm very concerned about how much time I have to give to something.
Yes, and that may be because you like that dopamine hit. You like the hit the short form video gives you. It's also there's if you're a YouTuber or someone that makes video content like some of my colleagues do, they attempt to change what's on the screen every 3 seconds. Because that's about what people like. Wow. So something's changing. And if you watch a music video, for example, you'll notice that image is changing every 3 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
That's giving you the hit that you're after, because you don't feel great, and this is making you feel better. The unfortunate thing about dopamine is it's a very quick fix. You get a hit and then it's gone, a hit and it's gone, a hit and it's gone, a hit and it's gone. Yeah. So it doesn't really do much for your enduring sense of well-being, if you like.
Right.
Yeah. We're quite curious. I see it all the time, because I'm regularly not just looking at research, but I'm regularly coaching people and running workshops for people, and I see it. I had one this morning, and I see it all the time. It's happening quite regularly, and in the one-on-one coaching sessions I have, almost everyone I coach has got like an underlying level of anxiety, which is making everything else they're dealing with harder to address. So I see it. I see it in real life as well as reading the stats. I see it in the people I'm coaching, because I've been doing it for 20 years, and I've seen the anxiety and stress increase.
But have you seen it did you say you'd seen it even more so, Peter, since COVID, or
yes,
the impact of that?
Yeah. There was some work done by Lumina Learning on, it was something like 20,000 individuals in 7 different countries. So these were professionals, and they compared the post-COVID traits to the pre-COVID traits, and there was pessimism had increased, anxiety had increased, and introversion had increased. So people are more concerned, getting less social contact, and they're more pessimistic about the future as like a background, if you like. It's a background level of anxiety and pessimism, which is also very concerning. If you overlay that on everything else we've talked about, I sound like a doom. I was like a doom master. But
I know, Peter. I mean, you're bringing me down, man.
Yeah. Well, I like to start with reality. I mean, the best, if you're thinking about behavior change, like your own behavior change, or to change how you're feeling or change what you're doing, it's a useful place therapeutically or in a coaching sense to start with reality, not start in fantasy.
Right.
Yeah. Start with reality, then work your way back from there, or work your way forward from there. That's what I like to do. That's what I find works the best.
Okay.
So why is collaboration an imperative for us as businesses?
Why is it an imperative? Well, it's imperative. It has always been an imperative. It's even more now, given what we just talked about.
Okay.
If you look at the most successful organizations, I'll give you 2 examples. There was some great work done by Rachel Botsman at Oxford University. She wrote the PhD and the masters in collaboration. She wrote the program, and she predicted the rise of both Airbnb and Uber. She predicted them.
Really?
Both happened. Yeah, she predicted them both, amongst other things. She's one of my heroes. She's awesome.
Whoa.
And And what she predicted was that when a disruption happens, and in this case, it was a digital disruption, it was the disruption of internet businesses and businesses like Uber, like Airbnb, using the internet to garner support. She said traditional industries will suffer because it will become a more collaborative economy. So she predicted the rise. There's also some good work done in the UK on the organizations that are most client-centric. So if you're whatever company you're in, you've got a client, right, or a customer, and they found the organizations who collaborated best with their clients or customers experience the most profitable growth, which is what we're all after. Mm-hmm. So if you have a collaborative internal culture in the organization, you're leading a culture, and you're building a constructive, collaborative relationship with your clients or customers, you will create a huge competitive advantage over any competitor that you are in. And most markets have a competitor, unless you're Elon Musk making rockets to go to Mars. Mm-hmm. Most organizations have competitors. If you think, well, how do I get a competitive edge? You collaborate better with your clients and customers and understand what's unique about what you're offering and how to make what you're offering ideal for them. Mm-hmm. That's why collaboration is important. It is the secret sauce, if you like. It's the secret sauce that's going to help you lead a business, grow a business, and grow profitable revenue.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Peter, you don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable. Again, we have the ability to edit. But when you talk about collaboration being the secret sauce and how beneficial it is to successful companies, then why is there such resistance then in some organizations to collaboration?
Part of it, I think there's two problems, Lou. One problem is people believe they need to sell. That's one problem. That's one huge problem. Mm-hmm, the other problem is the myth of leadership. That's the two biggest problems I see. Which one would you like to?
Yeah, can you elaborate a bit on that myth of leadership? Yeah,
the myth of leadership. The myth of leadership is that if I'm a leader, I need to know all the answers. I'm the smartest guy in the room, or the smartest woman in the room, and I know all the answers. And I get up in a nice looking suit and I give a long PowerPoint presentation and I impress my business about how smart I am and how I know the plan and all the steps to get to the outcome we're all interested in achieving. That's might have been good in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. But now, if you think about, well, two things, it's very unlikely. Well, I've never seen a business plan that gets executed, right? I've never seen one in 35 years of business. It's very unlikely the leader knows all the steps. And even if you do, if you're leading an organization and you tell the organization, here's the plan, here's the vision, here's the goal, here's every step to get there because I'm such a genius, it leaves them disenfranchised. It leaves them with nothing to do. Like I'm no good because I'm just going to follow you, right? It's like command and control. Now, collaborative leadership suggests, hold it, I'm interested in us achieving a goal together. And I'm going to find people that are interested in achieving that goal with me, and then we're going to co-create that plan. And all we need is the ultimate destination, which is the goal that we're after, and the immediate next step. And the best way to do that's together, because if you think of all the good research on teams, a smart, well-formed, diverse team makes a smarter decision than its smartest member. So even if you are the leader, and even if you are the smartest person in the room, that group's going to make a smarter decision than you are by yourself.
So true.
So you're much better off collaborating, and not just because it's good to do and it's the right thing to do, because it's the smart thing to do.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. So, Peter, what are the key moments to influence people?
The key moments. The key moments. Well, I wrote a book on this, Lou, because I love collaborative cultures, love collaborative teams, and I asked myself the question. I thought, can we pull collaboration down to a conversational level? Like, can we build a relationship through having collaborative conversations? Because what I found by looking at people like John Gottman from Washington State University is that the the quality of the relationship is the quality of the conversations that you have. And you think about the relationships in your life, personal relationships, business relationships, friendships, romantic relationships. A good marker of how good the relationship is usually how good the conversations are. So I thought, can we do this? Is that possible? I went back to university or college, did a master's in communication, looked at this really closely. And I developed, through working in 12 countries, working with thousands of people, 6 moments that matter in a collaborative conversation. And it works because I teach it all the time.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
It's good. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. It's interesting. I love it. I mean, I love it. I mean, my mum says to me, she says, Peter, what do you do again? I said, Mum, I teach people to talk to each other. And she says, and they pay you for that. I go, yeah. And she just laughs. She thinks it's so funny. It cracks her up.
Yeah.
I love seeing her laugh.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah.
Would you elaborate a little bit about those 6 moments?
Yeah, absolutely. I could elaborate a lot, not just a little.
Okay.
So before just to clarify, before we start talking about moments, there's 3 key intentions. So if you're interested in really unleashing the magic of collaboration, I call it Collabradabra. It rhymes with abracadabra because magic happens when you collaborate. Now, you think, I'm going to be deliberately collaborative. I'm going to be deliberately optimistic about the outcomes we can achieve together. And I'm going to be deliberately authentic. I'm going to be myself, because the more authentic I am, the more trust I'm going to build. So they're the intentions, if you like, I have before the conversation starts. Then the first moment that matters is before the conversation starts. And that's when you think about a goal. Like, I'm collaborating with Teresa, I'm collaborating with Lou. I'm thinking, okay, what's a goal that we could achieve together in this conversation? And how does that goal translate into building an overall relationship I'd like to have with you or your organization? If I'm running an organization and I'm thinking, okay, I want the goal to be changing how someone's thinking, like change their thinking, educate them, inform them. So I'm changing thinking. I'm changing what they're doing. Potentially they're doing something that I can improve on, improve a procedure, improve a process, improve a way a company runs or a client runs. Or I can change how they're feeling, because it's very likely they're feeling pretty uncertain and anxious, very likely. So maybe I'm looking at helping them have a sense of confidence or comfort in the approach I'm recommending, so that they'll consider an alternative way of doing things. So that's the goal. I'm thinking about that goal before the conversation starts. And I'm thinking about that goal in the context of building a longer term relationship as opposed to a short term one. Because I don't like funnels. It drives me crazy when I hear about funnels. And I read books on funnels, like marketing books on funnels. Get 100 people on the top and 5 people pop out the bottom. That means you've annoyed 95 people you've spoken to. I don't like that approach.
Right.
I'd rather zero in on the 5. Right. So I've got the goal. That makes sense so far? That's the first moment that matters before the conversation takes place. That's a moment. Yeah. Am I making sense so far?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense. Okay. Yeah. It's great talking to you guys too. I love podcasts. I love being able to talk to you guys. It's really cool.
I tell you what, you are sharing some great information. We say we're here for our audience, but actually, Peter, this is all for Lou and Teresa. So a big thank you for that.
Absolutely. And it definitely works. It definitely works. You can take any of these moments and they'll work by themselves. You put them together, and that's when the magic starts happening. Literally, it starts happening. And I see it again and again and again. Yeah. So it's like this is I've tested this. I've taken this baby for a drive, and it works. Yeah.
Okay.
It works. Yeah. So you want to talk about this? So you go. Sorry, you go.
No, go on. Talk to us about the 6 moments.
Well, I've given you 3 intentions and 1 moment so far. But there's a limit of 6 per shopping trolley, as we say in our retail stores. Only 6 per customer. The second moment that matters is when you're relating. You meet the person and you begin relating to them, like you're building rapport, if you like, or you're either building an existing relationship you have, or you're starting a brand new one. You're meeting a brand new customer, a brand new client, brand new employee, wherever it might be. And this is when the relating happens. And you think, well, how do I relate to someone? Some people I just naturally get along with. Like, I feel like I naturally get along with you guys. You two. I feel like we connect, right? Just
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We're just relating, right? So what's happening there? Is that conscious or subconscious? You think, well, most of it's gut feel, most of it's subconscious. You just connect and get along. You think, well, what's happening subconsciously to build relationship, and how do I do that deliberately when I'm relating to somebody? Well, it's quite simple. You just listen until you disappear. You just listen until you disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
I
listen until
love that.
you disappear.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
Right. So you take the attention. I mean, a lot of people talk about mindfulness. A good friend of mine's done a PhD in mindfulness. She's awesome. It's about being present. You think, I'm going to get really present and very mindful in my own bones, in my own skin. And then I'm going to give the gift of that presence to the person I'm talking to. I'm going to listen until I disappear. And they're going to feel that, right?
Yeah.
They're going to feel your presence. And I suggest any relationship you're in, whether it's a romantic relationship, a parenting relationship, a business relationship, a friendship, just try that one tip. Just try listening to the person until you disappear.
Mm.
And it will dramatically change the relationship.
Wow.
So that's moment number two.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice then too that you will subtly begin doing things that build relationship. This is happening subconsciously. I don't want to get too subconscious on you, but if I love the way Carl Jung described the conscious and subconscious when he was asked. I said, Dr. Jung, how do you define those? He said, well, imagine it's like this. Your conscious mind is like a cork that bobs on the ocean of the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd ask you, Lou, you can make a choice. You can hang out in the cork or you can hang out in the ocean.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Hang out in the ocean and just trust the ocean. Trust your instinct. Trust your ocean to deliver the relationship that person needs. It will happen. It just happens automatically, happens subconsciously.
Right? And you've seen this through your years of working with clients.
Yeah, I said, I did. I saw it again. What day are we? It's Thursday for me. On Tuesday, I was running a like face-to-face workshop. Most of them are virtual now. I was running a face-to-face workshop with a group of 10 lawyers, 10 professional litigators who have awesome issues in relationships. And I just ran exercises in the room. I got them to talk to each other. Then I got them to transfer attention to each other while they were talking. And the person that they were talking to or having the conversation with had a dramatically different impact from the same words. The same words. That's moment two. Just trust your gut. Trust your instinct. Trust the ocean. I'm fortunate enough to live near the ocean in Sydney, Australia, where I come from. And most mornings of my life, I get up early. It drives my wife nuts because I'm out of bed at about 5. And I get up so I can jump in the ocean. I swim with a couple of friends. We jump into Manly Beach. We swim to a place called Shelley Beach and back. It's about 2 kilometers or about maybe a mile and a half. It's lovely just being in it. It reminds me, hey, this is the ocean.
Wow.
This is the ocean. It's very cool. So think about the ocean. Think about being in the ocean. Yeah.
Okay.
You're even calm just when I talk about oceans.
Right.
You calm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's moment number 2.
Okay. So what are questions to ask people I'd like to collaborate with?
The sort of questions I'd suggest you ask, this gets to moment number 4, which is the understanding moment, because I like Stephen Covey's advice in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People when he said, seek first to understand before seeking to be understood. Think, okay, if I'm looking to influence you, Lou, or influence Teresa, I'm thinking, well, if I need to influence a decision that you're making or about to make, or you're not making that I'd like you to make, I need to understand how you're thinking right now about that. I could be suggesting anything to you. I could be suggesting cars. I could be suggesting photocopiers. I could be suggesting mining equipment. I could be suggesting anything, consulting services to you. I think, well, if that's the case, if I'm keen to collaborate with you and leave you and your organization better off as a result of a conversation with me, I need to understand how you're thinking. And there's 4 key, not so much questions to ask, but answers to get. I don't like prescriptive questions. Because old school selling is like ask all these open-ended questions and closed-ended questions and these power closes and stuff. I don't like prescriptive questions. I'm looking for answers. And the 4 main things I need to know is what sort of things are important to you in this decision. Like, just name something that you might be involved in commercially, Lou. Just think of something, and we can use that as an example. Think of anything that you might be buying or engaging with in a business sense.
A piano.
Buying a piano.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you lived closer because we're about to sell a piano. Seriously.
Wish I were there, Peter. I started taking piano lessons about a year ago, and I'm looking to you'd be shocked, but I'm looking to upgrade already because I really think that I'm an artist. I'm not, but in my mind I am.
Of course you are. Of course you are an artist. Of course you're an artist. Well, we have a baby grand we need to sell.
Wow.
My wife, it's my wife's piano, but she's just stopped playing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
annoying her having it there.
Yeah.
And I don't like having an annoyed wife, so I'm going to help her sell the piano.
Yeah.
So okay. So if I was selling a piano, like I am actually, bizarrely enough, I'd be asking you questions like, so Lou, when you think about getting a new piano, what sort of things are important to you?
Well, something that's important to me, of course, I just want the quality to be great. I wasn't sure when I started playing the piano that I was going to stick with it, but I really do have found that I enjoy it. So, and I want, a better looking piano. I want that, the visual. Piano, the look is important to me. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it, just quality and looks? Anything else?
I like to have the little extras on it. I want to be able to record some so that I can hear my playback so that I can improve. That's an option I'd like.
Okay, cool. And that's the main thing. So if you found a piano that was the quality you liked, it's looking good, and it's got the extras, that you'd be happy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think I'd be happy.
So you'd be happy. Well, that's important to me, Lou. I'd like to see you happy with a new piano. I'm the piano guy, right?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
I like making people happy with pianos. That's my life. If you're thinking of questions, I just asked you the first questions, which is what's important to you in a piano, right? And you told me, right? And the second set of questions would be around like how would you prioritize those? Like if you think of quality, looks, and extras like the recording piece, are they in order, or is one more important than the other, or are they pretty much in order?
The quality of the sound. I want a good piano. Because I can tell the sounds different when I play other places.
Okay, cool. Okay. That's number two. Number three is one of my favorites, which is the meaning question, because we think neuro-linguistically, right? Like I have words in my head, you have words in your head, Teresa has words in her head, and we have definitions of those words in our head. And it's one of the ways we think, right? So when I hear quality, I get quality in terms of what I think quality is, not what you think quality is. So again, I've got to disappear again. And I've got to ask you, so when you say quality, really curious, what does quality mean to you? How do you know when you've got a quality piano?
When I hit the notes, the sound is just clear, almost like I'm in a studio. There's just not anything in the background to sort of muffle it at all. It's just very clean.
A nice clean sound. I like that. Clean sound. Okay. Now, I'd be asking you the same question for each of those, like the way it looks. And you've already told me about extras, which is like recording, like a recording capability. But I'd be asking you for those meanings. And the people that are least like me, I'd find hardest to relate to because they'll have different meanings to me, right? Like I might think a good piano is a big piano. I want to impress my friends with how big my piano is when they walk into my house. I like it big. I like it shiny. I like it dominant. And some people think like that, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Other people like a historical piano, like it comes from a particular place, like the Smithsonian that's got some history. Like there could be a whole range of things.
Right.
Now the final set of questions I'd need to understand about you and pianos is what would you do most to avoid? Like, what would you be most concerned about when you think about getting a new piano? what we'd be most concerned about? Like, what should we avoid the most in pianos or with pianos?
Well, for me, would be the space. I don't want something that's too
Space.
big and bulky.
Not too big. Not
Yeah.
too big.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, that is super important. And you've illustrated something really crucial when you're influencing people collaboratively, because it's often people will do more to not get what they want to avoid than to get what they want to gain, which is why all the old sales skill stuff like sell sizzle, not steak, sell benefits and so forth, that just does not work, because what's most important to you is not getting what you don't want, like not too big. It could be high quality, it could sound great, it could look great, but just too big to fit into the house, right?
Yeah.
So the appropriate size is important to you.
Yeah.
So now knowing that, now we've both built relationship. I've got closer to you because you've allowed me into your decision-making criteria. So we've built the relationship. You start trusting me as a collaborator because I'm genuinely interested in what's of interest to you, rather than selling something to you. You haven't heard anything about my pianos yet, right? Zero. Right. Well, I'm keen to know what you're looking for in a piano. So I built relationship, I built collaboration, I've understood you, and I'm getting closer to being capable of making a recommendation to you or not. Right. So this is moment number 4, the understanding part. And typically that particular part of the conversation would take much longer than what, 5 minutes or so.
Right.
I dig in, and and I suggest that you get really curious about how people are thinking. Like, I love understanding how people think about things. I was traveling last year to London to do some work, and I was sitting alongside this lady that was reading a book on digging up human remains. I'm thinking, wow, this is interesting. I wonder what this is about. And I said, I'm just curious, the human remains, what's that about? Oh, she said, yeah, I'm a forensic archaeologist. She's on her way to Bosnia to be part of a group digging up human remains to put a case together to a war crimes tribunal, right?
Wow.
And I thought, wow, we had a great conversation between Sydney and Singapore, the first leg of the trip. And I learned all about forensic archaeology. And I thought, wow, she is a spectacular lady. She's doing this because she wants to identify how these people died and put a case to the war crimes tribunal. So I thought, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Get really curious. And again, it's good to step outside that typical reinforcement zone we talked about earlier, and talk to people and build relationships with people who don't think like you, because there'll be some insight in that, because it's usually the magic of the collaboration happens when you can both achieve a better outcome than you could alone. Like, together you can get a better place than you can by yourself, and that's always true. And different people often have different perspectives. If you add yours to theirs, you're going to get the magic that's something better than either alternative. Let's get back to this moment. I would suggest you take that learning and that relationship you got, and if you've got something that fits what they're looking for, like if I have a piano that fits what you're looking for in my piano showroom, of which there's only one piano in our lounge room.
Yeah.
Ideally, I have a whole lot of pianos, not just one. If it fitted, I could say, look, I've got the piano. Looks like I've got a piano perfect for you. It's high quality. It looks great. And it's got all the modern cons and extras, recording, it's internet access, and you can record songs, you can download lessons to learn to play. It's not too big, it should fit in your space. If I saw the space you had to fit it in,
right,
or not, maybe I haven't got a piano for you, right? Maybe I don't. So then maybe I'll need to potentially change one of your criteria. I can't change what you want to avoid because I can't sell you a piano too big for the space that you've got. But potentially I can change one of the others. Like maybe this one doesn't look so great, but it's high quality. It's got tons of extras and it's the perfect size, right? But I can only do that. Once I understand what priorities and things that you have. Or I can say, you know what, that's really cool. Unfortunately, we haven't got a piano for you. However, here's Bob's piano. that is likely to have a wider range of pianos that will suit you. And I refer you to Bob potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I've got the relationship intact. You're going to recommend me because Peter's a great guy. He really understands pianos. You should talk to him. And I've built the relation. And what I've also done is I've learned to build good relationships. I've learned to do that. And then next time I've got someone who is a better prospect for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more willing to, or I'm more able to build that relationship. Because the key thing here is become a better collaborator, and get excellent at building relationships, because that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
That
what I
makes
was
sense?
gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
just say that it's like it's building a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
That's the
is,
key.
and the relationship is the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the conversation, and it's the outcomes you can get together that you can't get alone. Cool.
Well, Peter, those are all of the questions that we have for you today, but certainly we ask that you share any parting words you may have for our audience, and to include, let them know how to get in touch with you.
The easy way to get it, if you're interested in learning more about that approach, I wrote a book called Collabradabra, The Magic of Collaborative Conversation. So you can check that out. It's the only Collabradabra on Amazon or whatever your favorite bookstore is. The only one you'll find. Or just check me out, Peter Anthony Consulting, if you're interested business-wise. I run workshops in this every week. If you're interested in learning more about that, reach out. Happy to share information about how those workshops run, and you can participate with your colleagues. We run them East Coast time, which is early morning for me. Normally around 7 a.m. is mid-afternoon for you guys. So we can do it that way. But the parting words I would suggest to you, whether you're buying a piano or not, is ABC. A always, B B, C collaborating. And every business issue you've got in front of you, just think, how can I take a collaborative approach, whether I'm leading, whether I'm selling, whether I'm building internal or external relationships, I'm looking for profitable growth. I'm asking myself the question, what would be a collaborative approach to this? Because that's going to give you a smarter outcome sooner than any other.
Great. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us here today at Earrings Off. We've certainly learned a lot and know our audience is going to benefit greatly. Thanks so much, and take good care, Peter.
Pleasure.
All right.